Hey guys, in front of me I have a 2020 Audi Q5 Technik, top model in Canada, and it has the S-Line Black package. I'll do a quick review on the outside, inside, and the performance, starting off with the front of the vehicle. You'll notice the star of the show is the blacked out grille. So with the S-Line Black package, essentially blacks everything out to give you kind of that stealth look. If I come a little bit closer, this vehicle does have the top view camera, so you'll notice the front camera. On the exterior, there's about 4 cameras, 2 on the side, 1 in the back, 1 in the front to give you the top view. Looking at the headlights, you have LED headlights, LED high beams, LED turn signals, and instead of traditional fog lights, you have the all-weather light built into the frame over here. This does, again, with the S-Line Black package, you do have the different badging here. And looking at the S-Line Black exclusive rims, they are 20-inch on Continental tires. This car hasn't been cleaned in a few days and it doesn't show. If I zoom in a little bit closer, you got that little bit of Audi Sport look as well. Looking at the side mirror, you have the LED turn signal on both side mirrors. And if I make my way around here, you have the mirror. On the exterior, you can lock your doors from here, and the side mirrors do fold in, or you can open the doors by simply moving your hand through. Okay. With the S-Line Black package, it is all blacked out around the windows and is also blacked out on the roof rails. Otherwise, it'd be traditionally chrome with chrome roof rails as well. And if we make our way to the back, you'll notice a few things. So this does have LED taillights with LED turn signals on the back end. With it being LED, it is dynamic turn signals, as you can notice from here. This vehicle does have the Quattro system. Exclusively in the Q5 is Quattro Ultra. Essentially what that does is when you don't need it, it'll drive front wheel drive to preserve on fuel. And another cool thing here, if you come a little bit close, you'll notice the rear camera, and next to the camera you have a washer nozzle. Essentially, if you turn on the rear washer nozzle, it'll not only clean the back window, but also clean the camera. So in the wintertime, you don't have to run your thumb through it and you have visibility. So what we'll do is move to the front and take a look at the engine. All right, so looking at the engine here, this is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, has 248 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to a 7-speed S-Tronic transmission, which in other words is dual clutch. 0 to 100, 6.3 seconds. And the fuel economy is not too bad either. It does run on premium fuel, and on average, or on highway, you get about 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers or 28 mpgs. So starting off in the trunk, you'll notice a ton of cargo space back here. It is a 40-20-40 split, so if you have skis or any long items in the middle, you can simply fold that middle seat down and still have people on both sides. Otherwise, you can use these toggles down here to knock the seats down, or you have a rear cargo vent cover so no one can see your stuff. If I move this bag out of the way, underneath you have an inflatable spare tire. Because this is the Technik model with the Bang & Olufsen sound system, it does come with the subwoofer as well. Ton of bass, and we'll talk about that a little bit later as well. Inflatable tire kit, and you have the jack as well. Coming into the rear, you'll notice a few things. So you'll notice you can lock the doors from the rear, but you can't unlock them. Individual window switches, Bang & Olufsen sound system, so you have the speakers across the back. Enough seats for 5 people here with latch support as well. So if you have a base or like an upper baby, for example, extremely easy to set it up in this vehicle. If you need to recline your seats, basically lift this handle and it will recline your seats forward or back. Otherwise, you should have a bar here as well that can slide your seats forward and back to give you a little bit more trunk space as well. You have rear vents, great for pets or if you have young kids in the back. Heated seats on both sides, and you have the ability to control the temperature as well. And at the bottom, 12-volt outlet. Little nets on the side as well if you need to carry any cargo or any food or any items like that. Starting off in the front of the vehicle. So with the driver door, you have your lock and unlock. This does have memory seats for 2 people on the driver's side. Looking at the side switches, so you can adjust both sides of the mirrors. If you tilt this southwest, you'll actually fold the mirrors in while the vehicle's on. Or In the wintertime, tilt this over to the side here and it'll heat up your side mirrors. Automatic switches for all 4 windows. And a cool feature here is you have child lock. So instead of going through the back and having to do it through the door, you can do it from pressing these buttons and lock those side doors. Use your trunk to open your trunk, and then your Bang & Olufsen sound system as well. Fully adjustable seats with lumbar support. And to open your hood, you have your buttons there. With the S-Line package, you have the steel pedals. And if I make my way up, automatic, so you got automatic headlights, you got your all-weather lights in the front like I mentioned earlier, and you have rear fog lights. So in foggy areas, people behind you can also see you instead of and in front of you. All right, so looking at the inside, so you have your turn signals over here, you have one-touch high beam, and then if you press this button here where my left finger is, you'll actually turn on your lane assist, which will help keep you in your lanes. Below that, you have cruise control, so you can set your speed up and down, or just hit the set button to set your speed. Let's turn the vehicle on for air conditioning. Foot on the brake, push the button on, and everything lights up here. Extremely beautiful interior cockpit. Star of the show in front of us is the 12.3-inch screen. The chimes to remind us that the vehicle's on. 12.3-inch infotainment screen in front of you, fully customizable. If we look at the steering wheel here on the left side, you actually have the ability to control what you see in front of you by swiping through different menus. My radio, if I have my phone connected, my phone, and then my infotainment. You have a toggle wheel up here as well, so you can change the zoom, for example. You can go through different options. And then you have your view. So if you press view here, you can toggle through how you want the information displayed to you based on what's important, and you have a back button below the view button. Over here, you have your heated steering wheel, which is a huge plus here up in Canada. If you have your navigation on, and by pressing this button, it'll tell you the last direction that it basically spoke to you. Answer your phones, and this is to speak to the vehicle. So at one click, you can actually speak to the vehicle. Otherwise, because this vehicle has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, if you hold this button for 3 seconds, you'll be basically able to speak to Siri or Google Assistant, whichever you prefer, or whichever platform you're on. Volume, and then you can change your tracks. Making our way up to the top. This vehicle has a panoramic sunroof. First panel can open, second panel is fixed. And to control this sunroof here, couple switches. So this switch basically brings the shade cover over, or you can use this to vent your window open or push it back to open the window. LED lights on the interior, and just basically touch it to turn them on. You have your home link as well, so you can program your garage doors, up to 3 doors in this vehicle. Focusing on the climate control, so you have heated seats on both sides. Again, these are very solid. You can hear the tactile movements, but you have solid buttons or switches here as well to turn the AC up, turn the heat up. You have your defrosts, recirculation, and you can just turn off your whole system entirely. If you run your finger through these buttons, you can actually see the different settings here. The 2 on the outside control the direction of air. You can control your AC with this button, your fan speed in the middle, and basically the direction of the air that you want programmed. So sync controls everything here. 3 zone is everybody has their own individual controls. And then set rear is you can control the rears from here and then just lock it right in. This vehicle has something called Audi Drive Select. So if I toggle these buttons here and go to the main screen, a couple of different modes that you can go through. So off-road, basically tuning itself for off-road conditions, gravel conditions. Comfort softens the steering wheel, softens the suspension, basically have a comfortable drive. If we go to dynamic, it's going to tighten the suspension, hold the throttle a little bit longer for more of a sportier drive. Auto will basically adjust itself based on the condition, and individual allows you to customize the settings based on what you prefer. Next to that button, you have the auto start stop. So this vehicle is equipped to save fuel. If you're the type who doesn't need that, press that button and it'll turn off the auto start stop. Because of regulations in Canada, this has to be turned off, or you have to turn this off every time you start the vehicle. This is for traction control. And I mentioned earlier on the exterior view, this does have the top view camera, so you can actually activate it by pressing this button. And you'll notice here, top view camera. So you have the full 360 view over here. To the left of it, you actually have a couple different views. So at the front, we're looking at the corner front view, the front view itself. You have like a 360 surrounding view as well, rear view, and then you have a rear corner view. So to help you if you have a pole or anything behind you. Pretty cool feature to have in this vehicle from a safety perspective. And if you live like in a condo or something, these cameras are amazing. Okay, we'll turn that off. This button over here focuses on like more hill descent. So if you're on a hill, instead of rolling back, by pressing this button, it'll actually hold you in place. Otherwise, this button on the far right will actually turn off the screen in front of us. So if you're driving at night and you don't want the light to blind you, turn off the screen. I showed you the push button start there. This does have a USB in the front, so it gives you the ability for Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and you have a 12-volt charger as well. So again, you can charge your phone or any devices that you have. With Navigation Plus on this vehicle, you have the touchpad instead of only the rotary dial. So some of the cool features you can use on here is, say you're in navigation, which I am right now, and I want to type in an address or spell an address. Click down on here. And basically I'll write with here, but I'll show you on the keyboard how it'll look like. So if I type in I N space H O. And you'll notice here, being Canadian, I have to have my Timmies, so this will show you the closest Tim Hortons, and then from there, you can use the scroller to choose the Tim Hortons, and it's calculating the route as well. And you'll notice here you have Google Earth satellite imagery. So again, from here you can have an excellent view of seeing a better view of the area and so forth. Otherwise, you have a few buttons across the top. So if you have favorite stations, for example, AM, FM, satellite radio, you can always program that. Hitting menu over here will take you back to the main menu. You have a back button across the bottom, and then you have a couple quick shortcuts. So you can get into navigation, telephone, radio, and media. So if you don't want to scroll through the different options here, you can have quick shortcuts. One of my favorite features in this vehicle has to be the shifter. And the main reason why is when I'm sitting here driving, I can easily rest my palm on here and have the ability to control all the information across. Extremely comfortable. A lot of them have, like a lot of other competitors have shifters that have more of a point, and doesn't make it too comfortable. So sometimes when I drive like this and I have my dog sitting on the passenger seat, just makes it much more comfortable. You have the ability, you have the park button down here. Press the button down here and you can go into drive, go into reverse. If I'm in drive, I can shift it to the right and go into a sport mode and toggle the gears myself. Otherwise, I can knock it back and press park, and it'll park the vehicle. Electric handbrake. So again, if you need to put your handbrake on, just push it up, and to disengage it, foot on the brake, push it down. On most Audis, you'll see the volume button down here as well. So if the passenger needs to change stations, turn off the music, or just mute it, you have all the functionality down here as well. With the S-Line Black package, you have the piano black trim with a big Quattro symbol, just to remind us that we do have Quattro all-wheel drive. Looks absolutely amazing, gives it a nice sleek look. And one of the stars of the show is the black headliner. Again, just gives it more of a stealth sport look, which I absolutely adore. All right, so making our way to the infotainment, the star of the show. So the way Audi's layout is it has everything neatly, conveniently located in the middle. As you can hear from the rotary dial, use this to control the information here. Going into your vehicle, you have the ability to customize the settings, the drive select settings, or you can go into your vehicle settings and driver assist. This vehicle comes with the driver assist package, so it has speed warning, parking aid, so it'll help you park with the sensors in the back, adaptive cruise control, so depending on the person in front of you, it can bring the vehicle to a full stop if you are in cruise control. You can adjust the distance warning. It has traffic jam assist as well, so it'll help you stay in your lane and enough space behind the person if you're in traffic. Audi Presense. So essentially this works in two ways. There's Audi Presense Basic, which uses the sensor on the cameras in the front of the vehicle. If it anticipates an accident, a potential accident happening based on how you are driving, it will close all the windows, close the sunroof, and tighten the steering wheel. There's also Audi Presense Rear, which essentially works the exact same way, but detects from behind you. Side assist, so if you look at the side of the mirrors over here, you'll notice the blind spot assist there, and if I make it brighter, you'll actually see it light up. So anytime anyone goes into your blind spot, that will light up on either side. Lane assist will help you keep you in your lane, and then you have your rain sensors as well. So if it detects the rain starting, the wipers will automatically come on and keep your windows in front of you clean. If I hit menu and go back, I have the ability to adjust the sound. Again, 19 speakers, 755 watts, Bang & Olufsen sound system. Absolutely bumps. Treble bass subwoofer. You can adjust the balance, and you can focus the sound towards the front if you're driving by yourself most of the time, and adjust the sound levels as well. Going into radio, you have AM, FM, and satellite radio, and you can also set up your presets as well. Media, this does have Bluetooth, auxiliary, Wi-Fi, and if you go to your telephone, I don't have it set up, but you can program your phone here and add your contact or have your contacts sync in. So when you use the voice activation button, speak to Audi, you can say, "Hey Audi, call my mom," or whatever you have programmed, and it'll pick up your speech very quickly. Navigation, which we touched upon briefly, it gives you the ability to type in your address or speak your address. You can program your home address and see your last destinations. You can switch to your map, enter the address, go to your favorites, go through your directory, or look up points of interest and do an online Google search, as you can tell from right there. And you have your map here. So you have, right now I actually have set up the Google Earth view. So if I zoom in quite a bit here, you actually see me parked in front of the dealership at the exact spot. It's not real time, but it gives you a cool 3D top view. So kind of lets you become familiar with the area, especially if you're going into an area you're not comfortable with. And then you can obviously input or see traffic messages. There is Audi Connect as well. So when you buy a new Audi, you can make sure your salesperson sets you up with Audi Connect by putting your phone out, your email address, your contact information, and sending you verifying your dealership. By setting up Audi Connect, you can start seeing stuff like where your vehicle is, the points of interest. You can send addresses to your vehicle, security warning as well if it leaves like a geo-fenced area or anything like that. You can set all that up as well, which is really cool to have on the Audis. And in a more connected world, it's good that Audi has this feature. Smartphone interface. So when I plug my phone, in my case an iPhone, into the vehicle, this will actually light up Apple Carplay. So at the first time you do it, it's going to ask you to allow on your phone. After that, every time you plug in, that will pop up, or it'll take you right into the screen. For my Android friends, make sure you download the Android Auto app, and same thing, when you plug in the first time, it'll ask you for a whole bunch of permissions. After that, you'll be good to go. And then you have your settings where you can go through your different information and really customize the vehicle based on what you're looking for. This was the quick review on the 2020 Audi Q5. If you have any questions or if you enjoyed this view, leave a like or leave a message below. Thank you guys.